Hi everyone, welcome to our video. I'm Belsi.
Hi, I'm Hannah. Today we'll explore how remote work is transforming organizations.
Hello, I'm Diosely. We'll reflect on culture, leadership, and employee experience.
And I'm Ilani. Let's get started.
I'll start with question 1. To what extent can organizational culture in a remote environment be effectively integrated with employee values and identity considering the geographic and cultural diversity of teams? In remote environments, culture must be intentional. Companies need to clearly communicate their values and create shared goals while respecting cultural diversity. So, integration is possible, but it requires active effort. Now, question 2. How can companies establish and maintain a culture of trust in a remote work environment where physical supervision is limited and autonomy is greater? Trust replaces supervision. Companies must focus on results, set clear expectations, and promote transparency. Employees perform better when they feel trusted, not controlled. And that connects with technology and leadership. Belsi?
Thanks, Hannah, for the question. To that extent, those the technology used in remote work influence the creation or erosion of a collaborative and transparent organization culture. Technology can improve collaboration and transparency, but it can also create overload or disconnection. Okay, it depends on how it's used. Tools don't define culture, people do. What are the most critical challenges for leaders in trying to build an inclusive and cohesive culture in fluid distributions? And how can they overcome tense, distant cultural diversity and lack of information interactions are key challenges. Leaders must communicate internationally, promote inclusion, and focus on connections rather than content. Okay, now let's move it to flexibility and belonging, Diosely.
Thank you. Question number 5. How can companies balance the need to flexibility that characterize remote work? We creating a strong culture that promotes employee engagement and accountability. Flexibility is available, but without limits, it can lead to overwork. Companies need clear expectation and boundaries to maintain engagement and accountability. Question 6. How can a company foster a sense of balance and community among remote employees? How rarely interact in person, avoiding isolation and disconnection. Balance must be created intentionality, through communication, recognition, and shares goals and policy. First connect, not insulted. Question A. What impact does the lack of spontaneous interaction, typical face-to-face environment, have a building, a vibration, organization, culture, and remote times? And how can this be mitigated? The lack of spontaneous interactions reduces creativity and connection. Companies must recreate the moments, types, info meetings, and collaboration space. Finally, Ilani close with communication and equality.
Thanks. Question 9. How can effective and authentic communication be maintained in remote work environments where interactions tend to be more formal and planned without undermining the culture of closeness and camaraderie? Well, organizations must encourage open and transparent communications, and leaders should create safe spaces so interaction feels natural, not distant. And finally, question 9. To what extent can equality and diversity policies be affected in a remote work culture, and what strategies should be implemented to ensure that these are not diluted in virtuality? Remote work can improve inclusion but also create visibility gaps. Clear policies, fair evaluations, and transparency are essential to maintain equality.
Remote work is not just about working from home, it transforms culture and leadership.
An apology well paid.
And how organizations create connection. Thanks.